sorry. In the land of gods and monsters, I was an angel, living in the garden of evil, screwed up, scared, doing anything that I needed. Shining like a fiery beacon, you've got that medicine I need. Fame, liquor, love, give it to me slowly. Put your hands on my waist, do it softly. Me and God, we don't get along, so now I sing. No one's gonna take my soul away. I'm living like Jim Morrison, headed towards a fucked up holiday. Motel sprees, and I'm singing. Oh yeah, give it to me, this is heaven, what I truly want. It's innocence lost. Innocence lost.
I'm not sure innocence was ever obtained to officially be lost.
Valid point.
Yeah, pretty valid. Anyways, welcome back, everybody, to Tuesday night's Echoes of Zeppelin campaign. It's been a couple of weeks since we've hung out together. Been a few couple of weeks since we hung out, huh, Flip?
Yeah.
Yeah, so last time that everybody was together, you became king.
Yeah. Oops.
You want to talk about it? You want to recap really quick?
I mean, I can. We had the party, and Lever came to help make sure the party was awesome, and the party was awesome. Unfortunately, the dude that the party was supposed to put on the throne got busted and killed. So then we had to decide what to do, but we didn't know that he was dead. So people told me to kill him, to kill the king. And then they gave me, I think it was a magic drink that made me extra suggestible. So I did. I killed the king, like they said to, and then apparently that made me the king, which nobody told me ahead of time. So now I'm the king. Also, the rabbits are back.
You are the king. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that the rabbits are back?
I don't know yet, but I didn't like the way it ended with the rabbits before, so I'm glad that we can pursue things differently this time.
Yeah, it was a little bit of dare I say, clusterfuck last time you walked away from the rabbits.
Just a little, so, hoping for a better option this time.
Yeah. So you got to sort of reconcile. You personally had a little bit of a reconciliation with Agdon. Nobody else got to see him, if I am not mistaken.
That is true. We took care of that very hush-hush.
Did take care of that very hush-hush. That being said, after the party, you all went your separate directions, back to your places. What did Flip do? Did Flip hang around the castle to, soak it in a little bit? Oh, yeah, I'm king now? Or did Flip just be like, I'm king now and go back?
Flip actually hasn't been to the castle yet. Flip decided to spend the night in the party's quarters because they wanted to check on the castle before moving in, or if moving in.
Okay. The castle's protected by bully dogs.
Yeah, very fearsome bully dog.
Very fierce bully dogs. If you've never seen a bully dog before, they're large, black, curly hair creatures. Yes. And they look very, very ferocious. And when you approach them, they run at you and they jump at you and they put their paws right on your chest and they knock you over, and they look at you with their snarling maw, and then they lick your face.
That's exactly what happens. Come here.
Yep, that's
Here
what
you
bully
go.
dogs do.
Good girl. Settle. Okay.
So you go back to the place that you guys were all staying, the little cottage that you were given as your own personal respite area in Downfall. And you're resting, and everybody had something to drink. While you're asleep, it kind of wears off on you. You wake up from your sleep because your head is like pounding so badly, much more than it ever has before. And so you wake up, it's the middle of the night, 2:30, 3 o'clock ish. You can hear like the soft croaks of the frogs in the moonlight, a little bit of water movement coming from the lake in Downfall, but otherwise it's a fairly quiet and peaceful night. Your head is just like, ugh. You
I
feel
am not
like
new to drinking, but whatever that was, I'm new to that.
and you see, as you kind of like sit up and you're rubbing your head and you look around, you see all of your compatriots sleeping in their respectful places, and like the moon beams in the window from like the front, coming from the lakeside. And just momentarily, right before you think you're going to lay back down and try to sleep it off, you see a shadow break across the moonbeam from the outside.
Well, fuck that.
You don't have eyes, but you do see shades of gray and shadows and things like that. So
Yeah, no. Line sense is a thing, and that I'm gonna take out my rapier and try to sneak over to see what I can see.
you see, if you peek out the window, you see this sort of white leather jacket, this long red hair, and this flash of a smirk just as this visage sort of rounds the corner of your cottage.
Red hair. Huh. I'm gonna look back at my compatriots. They're all still fast asleep.
Knocked out, snoring louder than you've ever heard them snore. The only one you don't really see in the pile is Henry.
Somebody better go find him, or he'll pledge his soul to another cat or something. I guess I'll follow the shadow in the hopes of keeping an eye out for Henry. Because I don't want him pledging his soul to another cat.
So you slip out the front door very quietly. And you turn around and you look over your shoulder. Everybody's still asleep. And you shut the door and you follow the figure around the corner. And when you get around the corner, you see what looks like Henry from the back, the red hair, the white shirt, the brown pants. You see this sort of fence around the back of the where the cottage is. It looks like kind of a tall, like 6 foot tall wooden fence. And you see Henry take a dagger and a piece of paper and put the dagger in it. And then he snaps his fingers and he disappears. But you're left standing there and you can see this sort of paper shimmering in the moonlight.
Paper. People leaving notes on paper. I'm gonna take the note with me and then try to climb up the fence to see if I can see where he might have bamfed off to. Wait, I can fly. I'm just going to fly up to see if I can see where he bamfed off to.
You fly up over and look over the fence. It's only 6 foot, so it's not like a super big flight. And you can look out and you see out into the forest. It's very dark around. You can just see like the moonlight and like a mist across the forest. You don't see Henry, but you do see that white jacket, red-haired figure out like sort of in front of you, about 100 yards away in the center of the mist.
And I can tell that this isn't Henry, but is kind of like Henry.
Not like Henry.
Oh.
But it is somebody you recognize.
I was going to say the original description made me think more of Lever. Butterfly. What are you doing here? Everybody else said you're dead. Yeah, you mentioned that.
And you see he kind of like the figure kind of turns and looks at you, and you do see the face of Lever, and he kind of reaches his hand out in your direction and beckons you forward, and then he turns around and you don't see anything around you, but he looks like he opens a door and like walks through the door.
I mean, yeah, I'll follow Lever wherever. Can't be any weirder than winding up in the normal world. So I fly through.
So you take off into the forest over this mist, and you've been in several places in this land before, all through hither, and it's been fairly misty everywhere you've gone. But as you fly into this mist, it feels much thicker and heavier on you. It starts to like weigh on your wings the way that like a torrential downpour would soak your wings, and they would feel almost uncomfortable to fly in, and your movement feels reduced. Like you start to feel like you're trying to fly through sludge, but it's just misty around you. But in front of you, you see this door. And once you get about 60 foot in out of this 100-foot gap between you and the door, you get kind of stuck. Like you don't feel like you could fly anymore. And your wings, like they flutter a little bit and gently bring you down to where your feet touch the ground before they kind of like go limp. Your wings kind of go limp and they kind of like hang and like they flump back. You can see just an amount of water kind of roll off of them, and they just feel incredulously soaked.
Lever, where on earth are you taking me with so much water, man? I'll keep walking forward.
And you just like, when you're walking, the air around you feels heavy, but it doesn't feel anything like it did when you were trying to fly through it. And as you're like walking across the forest floor, it starts to warm up. The foliage does. Like it's still very swampy, boggy kind of forest floor where it's like mossy and squishy, and most everything is soft because it's just laying in piles of rot and decay. And usually it's cool, kind of cool to the touch with the moisture and things like that. You know, the rocks and, you know, like the moss will be slick in some spots, but fluffy in others, but it's usually fairly cool. But as you get closer to the door, around 15 feet or so from the door, it starts to get really, really warm on your feet. Like the air around you doesn't feel warm. It's the floor, like the moss and the debris, the decay, the different sort of, sticks and tree trunks and, leaf piles. As you walk across it, it almost, as you get about 5 feet from the door where it's open, starts to feel like as if you're walking across a bed of coals.
Do I smell anything?
Only the scent of your burnt flesh, as it's like very, very hot on your feet. And when you look down, like your feet are kind of red, but the ground just looks green and mossy.
That's weird. And also, ouch. Lever, you better know what you're doing, man. I'm just gonna step through.
You step through this door, and when you got up to it, you saw that it was an arched door, and it was a very intricate laid brick design in like a arch shape. And the door itself appeared to be one of those old style wooden doors, but like reinforced with like the iron across it with the bolts and things. And as you step through it, it slams behind you, and there's just this flash of light around you, and you're standing in this just open, desolate place of blinding white. You don't see or hear or feel anything around you except for the warmth on your feet still. But directly in front of you, you see Lever sort of standing there, floating ethereally in the center.
Well, you went upscale, man. What are we doing here? Are we looking for Henry? Are we supposed to be finding your body? Because I don't know where that went.
He just smiles at you and beckons you forward.
Okay. This is weird, dude, even by your standards.
And you walk closer, and the closer you get, the larger Lever looks. And you get right up on him, Lever looks like a 100-foot tall statue with a large stone hand reaching down towards you, and it touches the ground just enough that you could walk up onto the palm of it.
All right. This doesn't seem ominous at all. I'm sure that nothing bad will happen. Go for it.
I don't see what could possibly go wrong.
I could be eaten by a giant purple worm. That's always an option. But for now, I don't see any worms. Gonna go for it.
You step onto this giant stone hand, and it raises up into the air, and you feel underneath of you this like earthquake-like feeling as each of the feet step forward, and you look like an ant in the palm of the hand of this large Lavorian statue that's trudging across this sort of empty white expanse. And you get about 5 of those big thundering steps forward when the white in front of you kind of starts to shimmer against a green jungle-like background. And you just keep trudging forward, and it's just kind of like phasing in and out. Like the more you move forward, the more the image stays stable. But until you get about 10 of those large thundering steps forward, the thing, it's still in and out. And then all of a sudden, you're in this large jungle forest all the way around. Everywhere around you is a jungle. And in front of you is a massive temple with a sun on the top of it. Lever is no longer there.
Mads is going to kill me if I ever find my way back to her for her to do so. Sorry, for them to do so. That takes practice. I'm gonna go in though. There's not really an option looking behind me. Either this kills me, or Mads does, or I go to an entirely separate plane. Is there a door on the temple?
There is. There is a door. They are large, golden, brassy color kind of doors. And on each of them is a half of a tribal sun that when the doors are closed, it makes the shape of one large sun.
I'm noticing a certain motif. I don't know if I'm big enough to open these doors, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I'll reach up and start with pushing and pull if I have to.
Roll me a dex save when you touch the door.
Okay. Where's the remedies? And that one.
Yeah, so you take 15 fire damage as a lightning bolt of fire. What is that called? Firebolt. Get the words together. Shoots out from the door in the center of the sun and sends you flying backward about 20 feet.
Ouch. That hurt. I guess I'm not supposed to go in. Get up, dust myself off, shake off the ashes on my feathers. Okay, I'm not supposed to go in that way.
Emblazoned across the front of the door, now that you have been bolted by fire, you see, pardon me, and I say emblazoned, and when I say emblazoned, I mean bright, fiery white letters across the front of this door now. Say, the key is found within your hand. Use the key to paint me red. Be aware of what you spurn, for what you give shall be returned.
I'm going to look at each of my hands and go, I'm going to eye the thing. I don't think this is Agnon's doing. I don't think it's the hag's doing. I'm going to guess that the topsiders assume certain. This isn't going to go well if I'm wrong, but and I will take two of my little toothies and like puncture my finger so that it's bleeding. Very carefully, ready to dodge if I set off the trap again. I'm going to put some blood onto the door.
So you bite your finger and you make yourself bleed, and you wipe it across the sun on the door, and the blood starts to expand and ripple across the sun, filling the crevices that kind of outline the symbol of the sun. Each of them feel like you just wipe just a little bit, and it just like grows and fills all the way around the door in the shape of the sun, and then pools back up in the middle. And from the middle, you see a hand reach out, and then another hand, and then you see a head kind of pop out. And the head looks strikingly like your own, except for a blood avatar of yourself. Roll initiative.
I rolled a 12.
You rolled a 12. Jojo gave you a sing for it to use at your earliest convenience from the audience.
It is good to know. And to sing for it means I sing and get inspiration, get a reroll.
Sing for it means that if you failed something or you want to automatically make something successfully happen, you do a singing performance to narrate that scene, and that's what happens, aside from combat.
Got it.
Alrighty. You rolled a 12, I rolled a 12.
I'm guessing that the blood avatar also has my dex modifier.
Yes. +2.
I am +3, I believe. Let me check.
You are also a +2.
My dex is +2, yeah.
Let's roll it again.
Okie dokie.
Got 21.
Oh boy. I suspect you're going first then, but yeah. I rolled a 12 again. So.
Okay. So this blood avatar of yourself look at you and bears a very toothy grin and holds their hands out. And as they kind of move their hands out, they're much more calculated and cold than yours would normally be. And it moves its hands out across the ground, and the ground starts to kind of shake a little bit. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
That is better. That is saving throws, just in case there's an extra on there at all. Dex save 22.
So while you take no damage, the ground around you becomes difficult terrain. Each 5-foot diameter portion requiring 1 minute to clear by hand. So that is AOT for me. Your turn.
Okay. I am going to look at this creature and go, it feels so weird to be fighting you, but for some reason, I think I'm supposed to. And I am going to reach out my hand, but in a much faster motion than the one he did, causing a wall of air to kind of move forward, and I'm casting Shatter at him. So that requires a con save.
Yep, 11.
That fails.
Yep.
So he takes 3d8 fire damage. know where all my dice have gone tonight. Sorry. Here we go.
No, you're fine.
Pulling out the backup bag. All right. So 3d8. 7, 14, 15.
15 damages.
15 damages. Specifically, thunder.
Okay. So the creature kind of moves around you. They don't walk, they kind of glide across like a blood pool pattern design thing that it makes. And it looks at you and smirks again, and its mouth kind of like opens, and coming from its mouth are these big sonic rings of like booming energy. Roll me a con save.
Con save. That's an 18. 16 plus 2.
So you make 4 thundery damages.
All right. It's got my own spells. Because I know how to do that thing with the earth, too. Was I supposed to copy it? Was I supposed to do that, too? I mean, I guess I could try it. This is really weird. Can I roll an insight to see if I have any hunches about how I'm supposed to be navigating this? Because Flip's not sure if he should be fighting or not.
Yeah, roll an insight. Go for it.
Insight 19 plus 5, so 24.
Yeah, so you remember the riddle when you're trying to figure out, like, should you be fighting this thing or not? The key is found within your hand. Use the key to paint me red.
I did
Be
that.
aware of what you spurn, for
Yeah,
what you
that's not-
give shall be returned.
It's definitely being returned.
Yeah, you're able to use your deductive reasoning skills to figure out that what you give shall be returned, meaning you gave your own blood, so you retrieved yourself, but that is the key to open up. So yeah, you should be fighting this creature.
Okay. I mean, what you give will be returned. This is so stupid, but I'm going to healing word it. For my bonus action.
Okay.
On the idea of what you give will be returned. So I'm just going to look at it and go, sorry about that. I'm figuring this out. Take some deep breaths. And I will give it 2 plus 4. So I'll give it 6 hit points back. And then I'm going to hold an attack with my rapier for if it comes at me after all. If it's still coming at me. So I'm gonna like cast healing word on the idea of like thinking through those last few phrases, and then I'm gonna like hunch down in a crouch, ready to stab if stabbing's still happening.
A dagger comes flying at your head. A magical blood dagger just flies out at your head and hits you. Right. It looks like it's just flying straight for your face, but it ends up hitting you in the shoulder for 7 piercing damage.
I'm out. I pass out right there.
You're passed out?
Mm-hmm. I pass out going, Mads may not have to kill me.
So you kind of like slump down to the ground, like, ugh. And sometime later, what feels like probably hours later, you wake up and you're hurting, your ribs are sore, and your head hurts. You don't see any sign of blood flip, but you see the door is cracked open just this much.
Well, come this far. Look behind me. There's no point in trying to go back. I have no idea where we are, but that's not new. I'm talking to myself now. Dust myself up and limp on in. Hello? Is there any... Oh, shh. Look around before you talk to people. You're getting too sociable, Flip. I'm too used to company. What do I see as I'm peeking through the door?
You see it is very, very dark. You also have a chaos coin to add to your pile.
Oh boy. And remind me, chaos coins function as rerolls?
Yeah, essentially.
Awesome. Keep moving slowly into the darkness, checking for traps as best I'm able.
Once you step into the door, you see a few sets of stairs that go down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 5 steps. On each side of the door, on the inside, as soon as you step in, you see 2 torches. Neither one of them lit. They're very large iron torches that are in the sides of the walls, kind of like pillars, like entrance pillars. And you're just in a small like foyer area where there's like a very small room, maybe 10 foot by 10 foot, with the large pillars and torches, and then in front of you is the stairs that go out and down.
All right, I guess we're going down. Who's we? Why am I speaking in multiples? I am going down, I guess.
So walking down these steps, you sort of descend down into a large open foyer. In the center of this foyer, it's still dark. It's a cylindrical room. And in the center, you see a gyro lens, which is a series of interlocking circles and lenses housed within them that collect The rays of sun and redirect into single powerful beams of light when focused.
Oh. Wonder how it works. Wonder what it does. Is there anybody around here who knows how to use this thing? Besides Bloodflip, I don't really want to run into him again.
When you look up, you realize that the ceiling is a massive solarium, ensuring that light can be captured and directed towards the solar altar, while serving the dual purpose of illuminating the space at all hours of the day. But
Cool, that's an
for
altar.
whatever reason, it's very dark in here.
That's weird. Is it magical darkness or just... No, because if I can see through it, then it's not magical darkness. Better keep looking around, see what else I find. You mentioned an altar. I'll go take a look at that. You're muted, I believe.
If you're standing directly, my bully dog was
I
making
understand. Bully dogs are a problem.
Yeah. So if you're standing just coming down the stairs staring at this thing, and you notice you're in a cylindrical room, and you veer off to the left towards the altar, you walk kind of like in a semicircle around. You see that there is a stage that sticks out probably about 3/4 of a circle, and then up on the stage, it's like a riser essentially, is where a half circle altar is on the back, and you see it's that same large sun pattern on what looks like a candelabra. Each of the points have little tiny candle spaces where they could have candles that are lit. None of them are lit. They're more like little oil pots. You see several statues around the altar, different offerings, spices, herbs, dried bits of fish and meat. And you see a spot what looks like a book would normally sit, but the book space is empty. And then you see rows of like pews on either side.
It's missing a book. That's unfortunate. I'm told books are very important. I'm gonna try to light one of the little oil candles and see if the light will even take.
Okay. It does.
So
It lights right up.
Okay.
It's just there's a very little amount of oil in each of them. They look like they haven't been replenished in a very long time. But
to find oil.
Once you light it, you look at it and you see it's probably enough if you were to light them all for them to burn for about 15 minutes in total.
Well, then I don't think I want to light them all right away. Maybe I do. Maybe that's what I should do. No, I'm gonna look for oil and the book that's missing first.
Okay.
If I find the book, maybe I'll light them all then, but I'm gonna keep looking around. So, I mean, I'm assuming I've checked that area and there's like nobody in or around there, so I'm gonna go...
Nope, you haven't seen anybody.
Check under the altar, make sure that the book didn't just fall down.
Nope, you don't see anything around there.
Okay, gonna go see if there is another part of the area that I need to be looking at.
So, the room that you were just in, where you walked the half circle around the gyro lens, and where the altar, kind of a rectangular room attached to the cylindrical room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a circle, and that's where the gyro lens is. And you came in on the side, and then you walked down, and then you went to another room. It's like a rectangle. So
Yeah.
coming back out, walking your same path back to where you started in front of the gyro lens, and then walking around the other way. This direction continues to move all the way around the gyro lens.
So there's not any doors or anything to any other parts. Good to know. Good to know. Well, I guess looking at the gyro lens, I don't see any sort of mechanism for tweaking it, playing with it, trying to do anything like that.
Not so far as you can see. You see torches unlit all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
You didn't see any doors just by walking around. That does not indicate that there are not doors waiting to be found.
Yeah. This time I'm gonna run my hand along the wall as I walk a full lap.
Roll me investigation.
(15 + 1 is 16).
So when you're walking down the wall and you're running your hands along it, you're just short enough that you can run your hand directly under where the long kind of metal torches are.
Mm-hmm.
And you come along, and as you're wiping your hands, you feel each one of these torches is long, and then you come to one that feels like it's shorter than the rest, but that's the only difference that you feel as you come along.
Can I pull on it a little bit?
Yes, this torch, when you try to pull it, it actually lifts up and out of the wall, unlike the rest of them, which are very stationary.
Okay, take this one out. I'm going to light this torch and then start using it to light the other torches. So you have bringing some light into the area.
When you light this particular torch, the fire that burns within the center of it is green rather than red.
Oh, that's cool. I've never seen that before.
And it casts this sort of veil, shimmery veil across the room. And out of the corner of your blind sight, you see in the wall a green shimmer that this torch is illuminating.
Huh. I'm going to take the torch with me as I go to check out that shimmer.
Yeah, so when you walk around, you see when you get closer, the line of a door appears in the wall by the light of this torch.
Okay. Thank you, torch. Do I see any handles, any writing, any traps, anything at all to indicate how I should or should not open the door?
You do not. You just see what looks like the line of
Reach out and try to push on it where the outline was.
in the stone of the temple wall kind of pushes open into another room.
Oh. Gonna keep taking the green torch with me and walk into the new room. Hello?
When you kind of walk into this room, you see some shelves, some very large shelves, what look like they were maybe once bookshelves. You see some desk spaces in this area that you're in,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you see a way to the right of you.
Stairway to the right of me.
A
Okay.
doorway.
A doorway to the right of me. Okay. I'm going to start by looking through the shelves and the desks to see if I can find any writing. Well, I don't read, but anything that might give me any clues as to what I am, where I am.
You start rifling through the books, and you come across things um, about the phoenix, about the powers of resurrection. You start to find books about the sun, about harnessing the sun's magic, different books about different sun gods and different deities across pantheons, all different pantheons, forgotten ones, current ones you've never heard of before.
I've never
All
heard
that.
of sun gods before. The idea that you'd worship the sun is new. Here.
That's a majority of what all of these kind of books boil down to. Different lores and things about different fire magics and the powers of resurrection. There's even things about using fire as entertainment, such as being a fire dancer, a fire breather, somebody who dances on the hot lava coals for fun, different stuff like that. All different kinds of things boiling down to the worship and use of fire for something other than destruction.
That's awesome. I've been trying to learn that. I'm going to look very closely at the notes on, or whatever I'm looking at, on how to do the fire dancing and the fire breathing, and then go, okay. Okay, so this place likes fire. I like fire. A lot more than I like blood avatars. How do we turn the fires on? I guess I'll keep going. And I'm going to go through the door.
To the room on the right.
Yeah, probably need to find that book somewhere. None of the books that I found look like they belong on the altar, right?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Stepping into this room, you find yourself feeling a wash of darkness over you. It makes you feel angsty, anxious. It tickles different parts of your insides, and it makes you feel extremely uncomfortable. And when you look down at your foot, you realize you're standing on the robes of a skeleton on a summoning circle.
Ugh. Ugh. Take my foot off the robes.
But in the center of this summoning circle, you see a bright gold book.
Okay. That's probably the book we need. Why did they put it in a summoning circle, though? Well, what do I know about summoning circles?
How familiar in your place of residence is Flip with summoning circles? Tell me what you know about them.
Probably not very much. I probably know what they look like, but I've not used them.
Okay, so that's what you know. You are able to recognize at least that this is some sort of circle of summoning, but you're not sure who made it, why it's here, what it does, who these people are, and why there is a book that looks exactly like the Golden Book, except for black, on an altar, like a pedestal kind of lectern. That's the word I'm looking for. On the side of the summoning circle.
Black book, gold book, dead bones, summoning circle. Look at the bones. Are the bones any like medicine check on the bones real quick?
Okay.
Things. There we go. And that's not great. Medicine is a +2, so that's a 10.
Well, the bones are dead, but you notice, seeing in shades of gray, that normally when you see piles of bones, they lean on the lighter end of the gray spectrum, bone color and all. These ones, however, are like Vanta Black, but not Vanta Black. The other black that's free use to the public, because fuck that guy that says that we can't use that color black. Anish Kapoor, that's his name. Fuck you, Anish Kapoor.
Uber black bones. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Why not? I'm gonna try to look. I think Flip does have sort of a healthy fear of summoning circles because they summon things and transport things, and Flip has been transported against his will often enough that he's kind of going to work his way around the circle first. So he's going to go and not touch it, but look at the black book as carefully as he can.
He's going to look at the black book.
It's a book.
It is a book.
It's a big
that has the words. It has the words Javeen Ki Kitab on the front.
Well, what's the worst that could happen? I could die, which I might have already done, at least twice.
This is a language you speak, by the way.
It is the language that I speak.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Celestial, Common, and Deep Speech are the languages you speak.
Yes, those are the languages that I speak. So what does this say?
It says, this is the Black Book, and it says Book of Life.
The Black Book of Life. Okay. Black Book of Life. Have I heard of it?
You haven't?
No.
It's black, but it's got the word Book of Life.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna, if there's nothing else in the room around the circle, I'm gonna take 3 deep breaths, say, Mads, wherever you are, I am really, really sorry to be as stupid as I'm about to be, and I'm going to move toward the gold book going into the summit circle.
You're going to hold the black book while you do it?
No. I haven't touched the black book yet.
Okay. You walk across the circle, no issues, to the book. This book also has writing that you recognize on it. This says Martakin Ki Kitab.
And this is, are these celestial or deep speech that I'm reading?
It is celestial.
Celestial. And what does that mean?
Book of the Dead.
That's weird. I would have expected them to be the other way around. Well, Mads, I didn't die yet. I'm going to go back to the Book of Life and use the end of the torch to kind of flip it open.
So you flip it open. And the pages are blank.
The Book of Life is blank. The letter, it's written in ink, in which case...
While you're flipping through the pages, this is a fairly thick book. Probably like 2 or 3 inches thick. Like a realistic 2 or 3 inches thick.
Right.
And you get about 2/3 of the way through. And on one of the pages, the only thing you see scrawled on the page is the number 42.
42. Of course. 42. All right. All right. Guess I'll go and do the same thing to the Book of the Dead.
All of the pages in this book are blank.
Okay. 42. 42. I mean, life and death go together, don't they? I'm going to take the Book of Life because I've been told that the sun is critical to life, even down below where I'm from, in some convoluted way. And I'm going to move the Book of Life and put it on the altar that I saw when I first came in.
You're going to try to pick up the black book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you try to pick it up, it is incredibly heavy, like Thor's hammer heavy.
Oh.
You can't pick it up. But a magical dome sort of shimmers around the book, encapsulating it. And each of the skeletons, there are 5 of them, all up, and each of them is holding a basin, and around the center of the summoning circle where the gold book is a capsule over it as well, like a magical capsule, and there are 5 goblets, gold goblets, around the edges of that. So each of the skeletons is holding a bowl, and each of the points around the center of the summoning circle are having a goblet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's not 42, which, given what I just read, I would prefer. Why? Do not steal that. That is not yours. I mean, if we're going to need to break the protection, I wish I knew what these people were up to. I wish I knew what the point was. I wish I knew where Henry is. I wish I knew where Lever went. I wish I knew how to get home. I have if wishes were horses. I don't like horses. I'd rather have wishes. I suppose. Why not? Can't be any sillier than it is now. And I'm going to try to kick over one of the goblets to try to disrupt the circle.
It doesn't get kicked over,
Okay.
but the liquid inside of it kind of jiggles.
Oh, okay.
You see it's kind of a fizzy ginger colored liquid in this particular goblet.
We'll look at the next one. Does it have the same color or is it different colors?
It doesn't. It's different.
It's 5 liquids. I'm going to go look at the bowls. Are they
The first one you come up to actually has fish swimming in it.
Hello, fish.
Tiny little guppies.
Oh. There were not fish in any of the goblets, were there?
There were not.
I'm going to go look at the next bowl. Does it have frogs?
It has a different kind of fish. This one has salmon.
Hello, fish. You are tasty. Next bowl.
Pufferfish.
Next bowl.
Trout.
Next bowl.
Catfish.
And then we're back to guppies. Okay.
The summoning circle, as you get to the last bowl of fish, lights up. And as it lights up, you hear a humming noise around you. And then the skeletons each, they start to talk in unison. They say, to swim and live. In each one is grown. And a fish, to each his own.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I am going to go up to the ginger-colored liquid and sniff at it.
It smells like ginger ale.
Ginger ale. Gonna go to the next one and similarly try to figure out what kind of liquid it is using all my senses.
Is the finest ale you have ever sniffed in your sniffing days of sniffing booze.
I would like that. Okay. So I've got ginger ale. I've got ale. What's the next one?
It's a cinnamon-scented whiskey. Known to make people breathe fireballs when drinking enough of it.
All right, so I had guppies, salmon, trout, pufferfish, and one more fish. I forgot.
Catfish.
Catfish.
Mm-hmm.
And cinnamon whiskey, ginger ale,
Beer.
good old ale,
Mm-hmm.
good beer. All right, I'm going to go to the next one to figure out what it is.
Lemonade.
Lemonade. And then
The last one is blood wine.
blood wine. Ooh, always wanted to try that.
So you have 5 different fish and 5 different drinks.
Yeah.
And skeletons spouting riddles in unison. To swim and live, in each one is grown. A drink and a fish, to each his own.
Okay. I'm going to take one of the guppies, if I can get it in my hands,
Okay.
and look at him and go, I'm fairly sure I'm supposed to give you a drink. But I'm guessing you would prefer lemonade because you're just a little fish. Sorry, my bully dog is being silly. But I'm going to take the guppy over and put it in the lemonade.
It swims around happily for a minute, and then it starts to gasp for air, and then it floats at the top.
Sorry, dude. I'll take him and put him safely down somewhere else. All right, so we're not putting the guppy in the lemonade. Are there enough guppies for me to try and put a guppy somewhere else?
There are 5 of each fish in each of the bowls.
I shouldn't need all 5. So guppies are not lemonade. I will try the guppies in the ginger ale.
Very similarly, swims around like a happy little guy for a moment and keels over. Blech.
Sorry, dude. I will try the next guppy in the good beer.
This time, when you put the guppy in the good beer, it swims around and swims around and swims around, and it jumps up like Free Willy breaching the surface, and then it jumps back down, and it just kind of like goes to guppying along in the beer.
Oh, good. Okay, so he's happy. I'm going to go over and catch a salmon by the tail and say, it's times like this I kind of wish I could talk to animals. I don't know if anybody ever does that, though. And I'm going to take the salmon by his tail and put him in the cinnamon whiskey.
You put the in the whiskey, and it starts to try to swim upstream, and then when it's trying to swim upstream, it ends up belly up.
All right, sorry, dude. Not whiskey for you, huh? Okay. Let's see. Salmon. Salmon. What do salmon like? I don't know. I've never had a salmon. I'm going to try the salmon in the ginger ale.
The salmon's in the ginger ale very happily.
Okay, salmon like ginger ale. This feels really random, but okay. We'll try the trout in the lemonade.
The trouts.
All right, then we'll go with the pufferfish in the blood wine because pufferfish can kill you.
The pufferfish is deflated before you put it in the whiskey, and it inflates when you put it in the whiskey, and it kind of like goes belly up.
Oh, I said I was putting it in the blood wine.
In the blood wine, it lives.
Yeah. It lives in the blood wine because
no, it doesn't. I'm backwards. It does not live in the blood wine. No.
Okay, so then I will put it in the whiskey.
Then it lives.
Okay, and then I will take the last fish, the catfish, and put it in the blood wine.
And when you do, the skeletons kind of tip their heads back and shoot these beams of light out of their mouth, and they start to kind of ascend. And as they kind of ascend, they kind of start to change their bodily shape from skeletons into dolphins. And the last one kind of turns and looks at you and says, "So long, and thanks for the fish." And they kind of like poof off into the non-existent reality, and both books are left there out of their capsules.
Okay. So long, and thanks for the fish. You're welcome for the fish. You brought the fish. I didn't bring the fish. Bye, guys. Okay, and now we're alone again. We are we are not multiple people. Too used to being on a team. Okay. At this point, I'm gonna try to pick up the Book of Death, the gold one.
It picks up.
I guess I'll take, since it will lift and the Book of Life won't, I guess I will take it over to the big altar that I saw first and put it there and see what happens.
It sits comfortably in one side. The altar is kind of large, and the place where the books are, where the book should go, the book that you have only fits in half of it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so we need both books. I'll fly back and try to get the Book of Life. See if it'll lift now that the dome's done, maybe?
Yeah, you could pick it up.
Okay, I'll fly that back to the altar.
And you're going to put it down?
Yeah.
And you put it down, and when you do, each of the candles on the sun behind it light up individually, and as the last one does, the books both kind of burst into flames in front of you, and a phoenix is just there in front of you.
Oh, pretty birdie. You are amazing. And I think Flip just stares for a good long while at the bird. Hi?
as the phoenix sort of rises from the ashes of the book of life and the book of death, each of the torches around the entire temple lights up. And the gyro lens in the middle now has rays reflecting off of it. And when you look, you see that the rays are reflecting off of it, but they don't quite look like they're lined up the way that they should be. And the phoenix doesn't say anything to you. It just looks regally out at the gyro lens behind you.
Did you need me to? Okay, I can do that. Maybe I can try. I'm not the best tinkerer. That was usually. I'll give it a shot. I'm gonna fly over to the thing, assuming if I can fly, I'll fly. Otherwise, I'll scurry as fast as my froggy feet will take me, and see if now that things are lit up, if I can find a way to edit the gyro lens the way it needs to.
When you get over to the gyro lens, you notice there are several dials and several movements to be made, but you see in the center it kind of makes like a 5x5 grid, and on the 5x5 grid you see there are a series of letters, and kind of floating in the center of the gyro lens is only those of blank know where blank is. And I'll send you the grid 1 second.
Only those of blank know where blank is. Well, that's probably true.
Wow, that did not send right. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna send them to you one line at a time because it jumbled it up the other way.
Oh no! I'm jumbled up enough as is. I don't need things more jumbled.
Okay. So these are the letters on the grid.
Okay.
And this is the riddle.
Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. It's a code of some sort. Oh. Okay. Spells. Do I have spells that would help? I do not. Do not have spells that will help. That's okay. That's okay.
There are dials around the gyro lens to kind of move the lights and things around the grid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. All right. Do any of the dials look like they match up to the letters in any way?
They look like if they're spinned, they will.
Okay.
Like if you were to tinker with one, you'll notice that the light kind of rotates in a circle, but like when it spins over some of the letters in certain areas of the grid, it kind of like lights up a letter.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna look at how I. It won't be that then. And I'm gonna sort of start tinkering with the dials,
Okay.
trying to get them to make words.
When you spin the first dial
Yeah.
over the first line that has Q, N, M, E, K,
Yeah.
the letter N lights up
N. All right.
from the first dial.
And then I'm going to pop over to O and I on the second dial, theorizing that one of those two will light up.
I.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to pop over to the next one.
Y.
Right. Okay. The next one, N-I-Y.
A, W, and all up in this line.
N-I-Y. Sorry, you said A-W and which one?
E.
Okay. And then the last one?
H and T.
T. All right. Ni. Nios. What if that's in the wrong order? What if it's T-H-E... Well, it spells the way in backwards.
When you say the words the way in, the gyro lens entirely starts to spin.
Oh.
And all of the stuff in the inside spins and they all line up. And each of the metal kind of strips that went in a circle, like they kind of spin and they all line up into one disc in the center of the gyro lens. And it tilts and lays flat. And it opens like this.
Oh my goodness.
And as it opens, rising from the center, you see a staff that has a phoenix at the top of it. And you see a book laying there next to the staff.
That's cool. I'm gonna grab the staff and say I'm sorry to Mads again for touching random magic items.
Goofy, go away. This is the staff of fire.
Whoa. Staff of fire. That's pretty cool. And then I'm going to look at the book as I'm still holding on to the staff.
It is lessons. It's basically the book Phoenix Druid 101 and Fire Dancing / Breathing for entertainment purposes included bonus material.
Excellent.
First edition. Action figures not included. Sold separately.
Very cool. I'm going to take them both and look over to the Phoenix and go, thank you?
It'll kind of like look at you, what you would think is a bird smile, and then it like flaps its wings. And if for a moment when it flaps its wings, it appears to be something that you have seen before as its wings raise.
Trevor is Phoenix? That makes a lot of sense.
I can't lose it anymore. It's getting dark.
And the ceiling opens and the Phoenix flies up out of the ceiling. And
if my wings are working now, I will take off and follow the Phoenix.
your wings are working.
All right, I go with the Phoenix, with the book under one arm and the staff in another.
You start flying back, and as you're starting to fly, the air feels really, really heavy around you again for a while. And then just as you feel like you're going to have to land, it kind of lightens up some, and you can see downfall in the distance.
Wow.
But you no longer see the Phoenix.
Oh. Well, I hope I see you again someday. Thank you for the instructions. I'm gonna go back and practice. I will head back toward Downfall, where I will get out the batons. Assuming nothing else happens, I'll get out the batons and start practicing, but like working my way through the manual with the different tricks and.
Yeah, and you study so hard throughout the rest of the night and into the morning that you feel so emboldened to be able to take your 2 levels, I think it is, that you need to take to get your subclass for Druid.
Yay!
And long rest and all of that.
Long rests are good too. All right, so we have to add another. Okay.
I think it's 2 levels for Druid to get your subclass.
It is.
Yeah, so then yeah, you're 2 more levels.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Apparently my Siri agrees with your bully dog,
Oh yeah.
because my watch just said that's what I thought.
Well, that's good to know then that they agree about whatever it is that they're. What is your problem? What do you need? Mommy be home later. All right. Oh boy. Adding a class. So exciting.
Yeah, and your staff is super dope.
Yeah, it is. So exciting. I'm going to go edit the book so that it clearly reads. It is the... Yay! So yes, I'm going to spend the night practicing and reading through the directions and probably take a level of exhaustion for not fully sleeping, but that's okay.
Yeah, so That's your first kingly adventure.
Dude. I can play with fire.
You can play with fire. And you got to multi-class. So that is also exciting.
Very exciting. We'll have to look at the details. I'm sorry for not using the singing thing. Just
It's okay. You didn't need it.
didn't find a time when I could figure out how that would help.
You were solving puzzles,
Yes.
so you really didn't need to sing for it in this moment. Let's see. Joe says, "How dare." Well, Flip, let's just do after show right now instead of doing a second thing. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hi, welcome to the after show where we're not doing all the fancy after show things. We're just going to be here and now and there. Do you need a break? Do you need a moment break? I could run intermission. All right, we're good to go.
I'm good.
So I'm doing a thing now where we're going to do like solo sessions for everybody. And we did Delia's first, and you just had yours because everybody's like multi-classing off and whatever. And I feel like it's fun to do that kind of like individually. It's good. I like to do the one-on-one DM player thing because I feel like it's good for exploring a backstory or part of a character without like listening to somebody drone on for 30 minutes about their backstory that doesn't make sense for level 1 character. So how do you like it? Like, how does it feel for a player for a one-on-one session?
It's definitely interesting. It's a lot of pressure because like puzzles in particular, like I usually will play more of a background person when puzzles come up because I take forever on them. So it adds a whole nother level of like, got to keep things moving. And there's nobody like Flip kept talking to other people even because you're used to functioning in a party. So it's a whole nother dynamic there, which was pretty cool. But at the same time, it's really fun to discover new things. And I know we've been talking for a while. Like when I built Flip, I had no idea he's such a pyromaniac, but he's a pyromaniac. So that's exciting to go the fire route.
Yeah, we had been talking about it, and I feel like whenever Flip saw the fire dancers at the circus, that was like the moment that I was like realized that Flip loved fire too. I think we both had that same aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we got to talking about multi-class, that's when I thought, I can't even remember what the actual name of the subclass is for the druid. Right, wildfire. There you go.
Yeah.
Wildfire, yeah. Because you had mentioned to me, like, maybe being a healer. Like, did the party need a healer? But is that really, like, style to be the healer guy, right? So I feel like the wildfire is perfect because it's chaotic. It has the fire, but it also is about using fire for something other than dealing damage. It's like the Phoenix and Resurrection, and there is heals that come out of it as well, I believe.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And the thing that I love about the wildfire circle is that it's that sort of burning away the infection that speaks to. I mean, we're always joking about a while back when we did the superlatives and Flip got voted most likely to accidentally be the big bad, just because like he comes from a place where morality is so different that burning away the infection makes total sense to him. Sometimes you just got to let it burn.
It does, and to me, I love the contrast in Flip and his concept of what's normal, what's moral, what is moral or not. Like, is there even a set of moral guidelines? Like, it's a whole different kind of lifestyle than everybody. The surface dwellers is what Flip calls them anyways, right? Like, and it's interesting to me to listen to you kind of like flesh out the place that you're from, because when we get to a point of exploring other parts of the campaign and going to where you're from, it'll be this place that you have detailed and kind of built along the way, and you'll see it actually in life. And I'm excited about that.
Very excited for that as well. Although Flip is also very glad to not have to explain to Mads how he wandered off and got roasted by the Book of Death. So, that.
When I realized how quickly you got downed, I was like, oh yeah, combat is going to be very interesting here. But I couldn't have you adventure. But don't forget the number 42. That might come in handy sometime when you're trying to explain the meaning of life to people.
I was going to say, I've read enough books about life to know that.
Yeah, good.
Actually, true story from my life outside of the table, I accidentally started a fire with that book at one point.
With what book?
The book that tells us about the importance of 42.
Oh, Hitchhikers.
Yes. I left it on a table by a window and didn't realize that the window had just the wrong angle.
Oh.
And lit the book on fire.
Well, yeah, fire. Maybe it's not just Flip. That is, yeah.
Oh no, it's very much Flip, because Cappy's actually afraid of fire, so, But anyway. What are you eating now, Doggus?
So,
Okay.
I was going to raid us out over to Guild Superior, but I'm not seeing Guild Superior online. Huh. Well, I guess we're not going to raid out over to Guild Superior. So that being said, I guess we'll raid out over to Owlbear Inn, and we will come back next week with the entire party.
Woo!
And Flip can tell everybody how he got a fancy magical staff and about his dream.
Yay!
Yay! We'll catch everybody next.
Bye!
Bye!